Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're finally getting back to working on the Ford Mower. Okay, so first let me show you why it's been so long since I uploaded a video on this. Here's all the pieces to the transaxle. I got them nice cleaned up, got all the grease off of them, and after I cleaned it up, I realized there's a lot more kind of general wear damage and rust damage than I had noticed before. In the previous video I showed you this shaft here where it was worn down right here and right here, and I would have to get new bearings for that, but it's not the only problems with this thing. If you can see here on some of the gears, if this will focus, you can see the rust damage to that because there was a little bit of water sitting inside of this transaxle when I got it, and I don't know how long it had been in there, but it had been in there long enough to cause some rust damage. And then just general wear damage too, like on these axles where that bearing was. The bearing on this axle you can see here is seized up, and then the axle was just rubbing on the inside of the bearing, which caused this kind of wear pattern right there. And it's stuff like that pretty much all the way around that's been preventing me from moving forward with this transaxle. So for now, I'm just gonna move on and work on some other parts of the mower and worry about the transaxle when I get to that. Okay, so I've got this jack shaft put in now, and the reason I put this in is because you can see the frame takes this kind of dip right here, and then the engine is at a lower level than the rest of the frame there. And because of that, the output that the engine shaft is at is at a different elevation than the transaxle. So I'll have a pulley connecting the crankshaft to the jack shaft right here, and then another pulley coming off from under here, which will go back to where the transaxle is. And I'm going to need to order some pulleys for this, since I don't really have anything for that right now. But I'm going to hold off on ordering the pulleys until I actually know exactly what transaxle I'm going to use and have that situation all figured out. So in the meantime, I'm going to get to working on the front axle here. And you can see this is the front axle. It's on a pivot point right there. And I'm thinking I can use this, but it's going to take some work, because if you can see, there's a lot of play in each of these axles for the wheels on each side. The bushings or bearings on the inside of that are completely worn out. So I'm going to need to take that all apart, clean it up, and then probably make some new bushings for that. Okay, so the more I've cleaned this off, the more of a mess it's becoming. You can tell that this thing has been bent and broken and welded back together a lot of times over the years. You can see the spots of weld all over it. And if I put up a straight edge, or straight enough edge, against this, you can see that this part is straight, but that part on the left here is bent way up compared to this. And this was also hit really hard by something right here, and it shattered the bushing that went in here. Overall, I think this thing is going to take a lot more work than it's worth in order to use it. So let me show you something else I have though. This here is the front axle to an early 2000s Craftsman LT 1000. This is obviously in much better condition. It's pretty similar as far as the design goes. The length of the wheelbase is pretty much the same. So I'm going to try to see if I'm able to use this instead. Okay, so here's that other axle mounted on here, and it fits actually pretty nicely. I can use the same bolt to bolt that on here. A couple issues though is, since this one's much more flat than the other one, it doesn't have the same curves. There's not much pivot room up here, but I can fix that with by just chopping up these sides a little bit to give that a little bit more clearance there. The main issue with this though is the location of where the steering arm attaches to this. This piece up here is what the steering column is attached to, and then the steering rod will attach from this to right here. On the original axle though, it had a piece like this that attached onto the top of this axle here, and this was under here. So the steering rod came up through this side. But on this one, it's on this side, and this isn't gonna work for the setup I have right now. But what I think I can do is, if I take the top of this axle here, where it's already pretty much keyed like that for this piece, I can cut that off and then maybe weld it onto the top of this. So then that will put this thing back right here the way it was originally. And then I can hook up the steering like it's supposed to be. So that's what I'm going to try to do. All right, so now that I've got that piece welded onto here, I can put this back in here, and then this piece will attach right back onto there, just like that. And then that's how the steering will attach to the front wheels, just like it was before. And I also cut off this tab that used to be up here from where the old steering attached, since I don't need this, so I just cut that off. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have for this week. The next thing to do is I want to figure out the transaxle, what transaxle I want to use, and I'm trying to find another one since that one has had the damage I showed you. But anyways, it felt good to get back working at this finally. I know it's been a while and some people have been wanting to see an update on this. So yeah, I'm really excited about this project. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.